Good morning, everyone. Before I begin the training, I just want to find out from you if you can hear me clearly. You can just send a message on the chat if you cannot hear me. I will commence the training in the next 2 minutes. All right, great, fantastic. Thank you so much, Vinod. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, guys. So today's training, before I begin, my name is Jivesh. I'm a senior consultant at Palladium, as Adam has mentioned. Today's training is obviously going to be on the workshop module on Palladium. The workshop module on Palladium is merely built for more serviceable driven businesses. So in today's analogy, I've created a car repair shop. Obviously, that's the most, I would say, the most easiest industry to understand when using the workshop module. So to begin the training, I'm going to start off with setting up a technician. So before I do anything, before I complete all of these functionalities, I'm just going to explain to you what each of these functionalities are used for in obviously a sequential stage. Right. So setting up a technician basically means if I have, let's say, 15 guys that do workshop repairs on vehicles, I can create them as technicians. Palladium, the good thing about Palladium is you are able to have multiple job templates because obviously we wouldn't want to create a job template for every single job that we do. So we can just create a default template. We can put the vehicle, let's say we put VW service, put BMW service. We can create it as a default template. And then on the process job screen, when we add the template, we're able to select what items are going to be used specifically. The serviceable item type is what type of item are you servicing? Are you doing a service on the vehicle? Are you doing a repair on the bodywork on the vehicle, etc.? A serviceable item type, the good thing about the serviceable item type is I'm able to keep track of the history of my vehicle. When did my vehicle come in last for a service? When is this vehicle due for the service the next time? All right. Once that's done, you process your job. So when you're processing your job, you're saying, okay, great. This client has confirmed that they're going to be obviously going ahead with the workshop. I'm going to now process the job for you, and I'm going to provide a job card to the guys on the workshop floor. Issuing work in progress, basically taking the stock out now to start the work, and then a workshop schedule to see as to when each vehicle needs to be done at which time. Okay. Palladium allows you on the workshop module to close the job in 3 ways. First way is to merely do a job template serviceable item process job. The next way is to convert a quotation that had been created for a job template to an invoice. Alternatively, you can do a direct invoice and issue your work in progress on an invoice specifically. So to begin, I'm going to start off by setting up a technician. I'm going to set up a technician over here. I'm just going to set up Adam as a technician. These are all the details pertaining to the technician that's currently working on the vehicles. All right, you're able to put all of their details in here. For example, you are able to add targets. So basically, if I have a technician on the floor, look, I'm looking for 800,000 Rand from you. And I want this annually. So I know my target every single month as a technician is to bring in at least 66,666 Rand into the business. Okay. I'm able to attach files. Attaching files could be your technical qualification, could be your ID, could be your driver's license, and any additional notes pertaining to the technician specifically. All right. At the bottom, you'll notice we have a technician since. All right. This technician since basically means when has this technician started in the business? Did they start today? Whatever the case may be. Followed by okay. Once it's done, I'm going to create a job template. Now, as we know, a job template is, like I'd say, inverted commas, a bill of material in Palladium manufacturing, is where I'm able to add a default template. So I can just call this BMW service, or rather VW service, and I can put the same description there as well. Okay. On this, I can say, okay, on a general service, this is what you'll require because obviously we have different makes of VWs. The good thing about Palladium is that you are able to change your process job on the fly. So I'd say I want VW oil, one of them. I'd like to have 4 spark plugs, right? And I'd also like to add a air filter, 1 air filter, right? What are the job instructions pertaining to what needs to be done? Okay, so I'll put job instructions, general service, not major. So obviously they would understand what that pertains to. What's a serviceable item type specifically? The serviceable item type that we're busy with here is a general service. So I put here general service. Okay, over here is where I'm able to add a free text field. So if I say free text, I put registration. Okay, I can say that's a mandatory field, and I can put it in an order. Okay, so I can put the registration of the vehicle. I can put the date in which the vehicle came in. I can put a drop-down list as well. So if I put vehicle fuel type, I can click onto the drop-down. I can say petrol, and I can say diesel. Okay, for example, these are free text format fields. I can create a drop-down list and a free text field or what's required. You can say that's order number 2. Right, great. Once completed, I've now adjusted my serviceable item type to my template. As mentioned, the job template can be changed on the fly. So when you're processing a job for a specific client or creating a quotation, you are able to do a job card based on what's required on the vehicle and what type of make of a vehicle it is, etc. Once that's done, I'm going to click on to record. Upon clicking on to record, I'm going to skip this step over here for serviceable item type because serviceable item type could be a general service, which you can link to a template. You could put major service, link to a template. You could put suspension check, and you can link it to a template. Right? Back again to what I said. It is you can change it on the fly. Now, serviceable item type. Serviceable item type is what we creating a general service. We're doing a general service, all right? For what vehicle? Over here, I can put the vehicle's registration number, okay? I can put any information. And then I can select. Now, we've got a section for the owner of the vehicle and the customer, okay? If you're just a normal guy that's just bringing in your vehicle in for a service and you're not registered under a business, then automatically the customer and the owner will be the same. But on this instance over here, the customer could be, I brought the vehicle in. It's not my vehicle. It's my boss's vehicle, for example. The customer could be me, but the owner could be the business, right? Or my boss. What we're planning to do is on this screen over here is to be able to allow our clients to do like a free text field like we have on our accounts receivable. So I'll just go in here, select the customer, for example. Let's use this customer over here. I'll select that customer is the same as the owners. Hold on. Okay, 100%. Great. So over here, when was the vehicle last serviced? We say 10th of September. When is the next service date? All right. So we can look at it. Let's say the vehicle was brought in. Let's rather use an analogy from today. When is the next service date for this item? All right. We'll say the next service is for the 1st of March. What's the registration? I can put the registration in over here as well. And what type is it? Is it a petrol or is it a diesel? No, it's a petrol vehicle. And I'll be able to see my history over here. The reason for a serviceable item is to allow us to be able to view all items or all cars that have been serviced, and we're also able to run a report to see the history of the vehicle, contact the client again, look, your vehicle's due for service, are you going to be coming in, etc. Okay, you can also use an internal asset, all right, if you're going to be utilizing an internal asset to do your service on. Once that's done, I click on to record. Upon clicking on to record, I can go on to the next step, which is the process job. I can go click on to process job. I can select my serviceable item type. My serviceable item type is this vehicle. Now, as you can see, Palladium allows you to choose job templates on the fly. So if I say VW service, okay, and the client requires 6 spark plugs, for example, okay, or the client requires an additional part to the vehicle, I'm able to add it here on the fly. Okay, I'm able to put my pricing over here. My pricing will obviously pull through from my price list. Okay, I can select who's the technician on the job. I can select who's the salesperson that brought the job in. I can select the department, and I can select terms and conditions, right? What's the job instructions? The job instructions on the job template will be a general service, not a major service. And what's the summary? Right, this is my total cost right? For example, this is my total cost to bring my vehicle in, and I'm able to see what my profit margins like, etc. Once that's completed, I can then click on to record. Upon clicking onto record, I can click onto a drop down and I can click onto preview. And on this screen over here is where I'm able to print out now my job card to give it down to the guys in the floor so they can pull through stock and they can start the service on the vehicle. Once the job card has been issued, they will go onto the floor. They'll start pulling out all the materials that's required. So I'll select the job card. I will say auto issue. Auto issue basically means I'm automatically issuing all the stock out for this vehicle and I'm reserving it for this vehicle specifically. Okay. And I can choose the date, etc. of it as well. I need to create a work in progress account. Just give me a second. So just going here. So on your linked accounts, you will notice that you have a section for workshop. So work in progress basically means that this is now still your inventory. It's still held by you. Okay. It's just now currently work in progress. So I'm just going to check over here because Palladium's new version has additional fields. Okay, let's just remove these journal codes. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to just give me 1 second. Apologies for that. You're going to have to create a work in progress account. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back to my workshop module. I'm then going to go to issue, work in inventory issue. I'll then select it. I'll auto issue. Automatically, all the stock is now going to be, the cost of all of these items are going to be set into a work in progress account. Similar to how the manufacturing works, create your bill of materials, process your job, issue your work in progress, and close your job. I'll then click on to record. Upon clicking on to record, I've now issued my stock. Now I'm ready to start firing up on the vehicle. If I look at my workshop schedule, I'm able to see, okay, this vehicle was brought in at what time, and I'm also able to see when this vehicle is due. I'm also able to see per technician, and I'm also able to see jobs that are currently work in progress, closed, open, or quoted. Right? Good thing about having a quoted job is we can always contact the client again, find out if we can get him better pricing, etc. Once that's completed, I can then go into invoice job. So this is basically closing the job now. I'll click on to convert and I'll double click onto the inventory issue that we've currently done. And on the screen over here is where I'm able to invoice the client directly now. I'm able to still see job instructions and I'm able to still see the summary on what was currently used and what was invoiced. And I'm able to see my margin percentages on the profits that I've made per item. I'll then click on to record. And if I view my customer now, okay, under my history, it will then show me that this vehicle was serviced on this specific date, and I'm able to see also when is the next service date for this specific vehicle. All right, that's just one way of closing a job. Palladium also allows you to close a job by creating a quotation. So if I say, okay, I'm going to bring in my vehicle, so I go in, I create a serviceable item type, can be returned. Yes, Brian, it can be returned. I'll show you how it can be returned shortly. Okay, so I will then select a serviceable item. I will put a registration in here. Okay. That. Okay, can also put over here BMW. I'm able to also select again. Select an owner. The owner is the same as the customer. Do the very same thing. And as the last service date, when is the next service date? Probably, okay? Because obviously it's a quotation created for the client. I'm able to put the registration of the vehicle in here, and I'm also able to put the type of vehicle. Okay, and then I click on to record. Thereafter, I can just go into my create quotation screen. I can select my serviceable item, which will be this vehicle. And as you can see, I'm able to still select a job template on the fly. So I'll say usually this is what I will require. The client does not require a filter. I can delete this row and I can provide a quotation to this client. Okay, so there's 0 selling costs. And then I can click on to record. Upon clicking on to record, if I can provide a client with a quotation, should the client accept the quotation, I can then convert this quotation into a process job, right? As you can see over here, the workshop quotation, I can create it to a process job and follow the entire process with the issue work in progress and invoice. Or alternatively, I can go directly into the invoice specifically. I can click on to convert, and on the specific screen over here, give me a second, I'm able to convert a quotation. So I'm just going to go run you through the first process, second process, and then the third process, right? And then on the screen over here where I'm able to still process a job, like I've mentioned, for the specific vehicle, I can go in, I can convert my quotation, I can click on to record. The client wants this, I can issue my work again. Okay, and I can go directly into an invoice and I can close the job over here specifically. All right, and I can just click on to record. Now that's the second way. The third way in which you can do it is through a direct invoice. So if I want to directly invoice this vehicle on the screen, so I want to just do a quotation to a invoice job, I can go directly. I can just select my serviceable item type. I can create my job template. If the client wants an invoice right away, before he leaves the premises, I'm still able to go in, convert the quote into an invoice, and then I can select the salespersons, etc. Once that's completed, I can click on to record. Hold on, let me just put over here. Okay, great. So I can say use quantity was 1. It's fine. Use quantity was 4. And then use quantity was 1. All right. So on the screen over here, automatically it will issue work in progress. It's fine. It's okay. Now, automatically, if I do a direct invoice, I'll obviously still have to issue my issue work in progress because it's basically issuing the stock still. So even though I'm providing you with a quote to invoice directly and not giving you a job card, etc., I'm still able to go in over here and then issue my inventory. I can record this and I can provide you with an invoice specifically. All right. Should the client be unhappy with the vehicle and brings the vehicle back, I can always go down to a credit note. On the credit note, you're able to still go in and convert the credit note, an invoice into a credit note for the client. You're also able to do credit requests on the screen, and you're also able to do receipts. So if the client wants to pay for the vehicle now, I can go into the customers, I can select that, and then it will show you over here directly the job that's currently running. You can put the receipt amount, or alternatively, you could have a cash customer, all right, for example, and you could do a direct cash, EFT, or card payment on the invoicing screen specifically. Okay, moving on. Onto the workshop reports. On the workshop reports, I'm able to see what jobs are currently in process, all right, or in progress rather. I'm able to select all customers. I'm able to select all jobs. As you can see, there's nothing currently that's in process, but this report over here will give me a date range and show me what's currently in progress, when it was reported, or when it was due rather. Okay, job profitability. If I select the 2 vehicles, I can select all customers, and I run the job profitability report, I'm able to see, right, I made 2,100 Rand revenue. This was my cost, and what was my margin I made on the job, etc. for each specific job that's currently running. All right. The resource usage. Okay. So very importantly, so if I go to items and I click onto OK, it's like your inventory movement report. You are able to see what has been, what's the unit cost of the item, what's the quantity used in total, Okay, and what is the amount for those specific items? You can also select labor, etc. on it. So remember, a lot of workshops, when they produce the job templates, the job template can also entail labor. So if I go into my job templates, open current job template, I can adjust it, and I can add a serviceable item type over here. I created one called labor. I can add labor in over here, and I can say how many hours it will take. So I forgot about that part. My apologies, but you're able to add a services, a labor rate as well on the job template, and you're still able to do the normal processing on Palladium. Okay. On the job variance report is if I say the job was usually required 4 spark plugs, but this time we needed 6 spark plugs, the tool will go into a variance report. And then also the job template list, you're able to see all the job templates that you currently ran within the business. So if you create one, let's say VW service, BMW service, Ford service, general service, you can create one for major service, etc., and then change it on the fly. And that's it on, sorry about that. Sorry, Brian, I'll answer your question now. So on the issue work in progress, well, on the job, once it has been issued and you want to return a quantity, all you do is you just go back, process the job, and then automatically when you go to return quantity, you will be able to return it. So let me just do it for you quickly. So for instance, I've clicked on there. I'll select my template. I have no pricing, it's fine, it's all good. Okay, that's okay. Right. And then I can always go into the issue. Sorry about that. Select the specific job, and I can always put a return quantity directly on the screen over here. Okay. Or alternatively, I could go into my open job. Over here, I'll just have to find out this. Usually this option should be still available for me to return. I'll just have to find out for you on that point. But Brian, what you can do is you can just drop me an email. I'll just leave my email address as well in the address bar, and then I can just run you through it again. I'll just have to find out with regards to the return quantity when a job has been processed and invoiced. So I know if the job has been invoiced, you won't be able to return a quantity. But if you've issued the work in progress without an invoice specifically, you're still able to return quantities on its own. So let me just try and see that. All right, great, fantastic. And yes, you can always go into your, like I said, your accounts inquiries. You can go into your accounts inquiries. You're able to still see transactions for specific customers. You're able to see what invoice was created for the customer and what receipt had been created for the customer as well. So going back to what I've mentioned earlier, the workshop module, like I said, is more for a serviceable driven business. It has a lot of features on it. If you have any questions or you need further training on the workshop module, please feel free to drop me an email, and we can always schedule this for you. I'll leave my email on the chat here. All right, great. Does anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, you can feel free, yeah?
You did that so fast. Could you please repeat it? I'm joking. When will the recording be available first?
I'll just have to find out from Adam. He's a support manager. I'm sure that when Indu completes his training, etc., we should be able to get modular training. And by tomorrow, I should let you know. Just drop me an email so I have your email address on hand, and then I can just find it for you and just send it through to you.
Thanks, Jivesh.
Not a problem. Anyone else has any further questions pertaining to the workshop module?
Yes. AA was actually correct. You were flying through it, but anyway, it's fine. Just quickly, for a moment there, you went behind the scenes and sorted out that issue of work in progress, linked accounts. Could you just quickly walk us through how you sorted that out?
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Not a problem. So on the control panel, the linked accounts and the workshop. So Palladium's premium version, obviously if it has workshop enabled, will have the work in progress account. So the work in progress account serves the same purpose as your manufacturing work in progress. So for all stock that has been issued from your store or warehouse, whatever the case may be, will sit into this specific work in progress. So the problem was, when I clicked onto OK, it gave me journal codes. Please note that if you've set up journal codes and you try to add an account while setting up the main account has a journal code linked to it, you won't be able to set it up as a linked account. So all you'll have to do is go into, if it complains about certain account numbers, you just take a screenshot of those account numbers like I've did here, okay? And then you just go into your general ledger, you go into your journal codes, and then you are able to find that specific account number over here and delete it from here before you add it to a linked account on the journal codes. All right, was that clear?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
All right, any questions, further questions? Nobody has any further questions. Okay, if you do have any further questions, you can just drop me an email, and then we can always schedule a one-to-one session with each other to complete the training. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.